up, what do you think of the conspiracy theories surrounding this case?
I would cuss, but I'm a Christian. I think the conspiracy theories surrounding this case is a bunch of hogwash. And I'm gonna tell you the biggest, most crazy conspiracy theory is that Tyler Robinson was never at the UVU campus. That is a flat out lie. That somehow he was coerced into turning himself in even though he wasn't involved. Let me just say this because I think it's very clear that if you don't have him named, why would he turn himself in? If he was never on campus ever, why would he voluntarily take responsibility for something he wasn't even associated with? That tells you that there's something there. And if he didn't get arrested until his parents were interviewed, that tells you that something that they said may have been developed probable cause to arrest him. So I think the conspiracy theories are out of control. It's evil, demonic, and I'm hoping that people watch this trial and get the information for themselves.
What purpose do you think the conspiracy theories serve?
Self-serving. It's self-serving. People want to fill in the gaps of what they don't know. Conspiracy theories are way sexier than what the truth is, and we all know that. That's why conspiracy theories exist. And so I think a lot of it is self-serving. If you look at social media, what's going viral right now? Conspiracy theories. Yeah, people don't want to know the truth. So people are doing this in a self-serving way that I think is ridiculous. And I'm hopeful that people that show up here or people that watch the trial go out and report the facts. You don't have to report what you feel. Report the facts that are being presented in the court of law, because this is where justice happens or justice does not happen.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Sup, sobers? As many of you already know, we spent a good chunk of time last week going through the Tyler Robinson pretrial hearing, pointing out things that we found to be peculiar, to say the least. But I just wanted to compile a quick video, maybe a couple of videos, highlighting all of the things that I feel like weaken the state's case, or are certainly not as strong as the state makes it seem. First of all, please like, subscribe, follow my other socials, and if you haven't seen my Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk videos, they go through quite a bit of this evidence that we're just now being presented with.
Stop.
Which is probably the first thing that I noticed. There isn't much more presented during this pretrial hearing than what was already floating around online. In fact, some of the videos we get to see are worse quality than the ones we've already seen. Not a single shred of evidence that they presented, including the video evidence, definitively proves that this suspect that they're tracking across campus is in fact Tyler Robinson. The only thing that the case is resting on is Lance Twiggs' testimony that the person in the photos is somebody that he thinks looks like Tyler Robinson.
And do you know Tyler Robinson?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do.
But we never get a definitive identification from Lance Twiggs.
Hey, I'm on the FBI's website. You can see the URL there at the top. This is some press release about this event. And here on the screen, you see these, looks like there's 2 rows of 3 images.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recognize the person in these images?
I wouldn't say it with 100% certainty just because of camera quality, but that looks like him in terms of the shoes he's wearing, the sunglasses. I don't think I'd specifically seen him wearing that hat, but he was usually wearing a hat, and then jeans. So it definitely, especially the bottom, the last 2, definitely do look like him. They do look like Tyler Robinson.
And you talked about that with your friends, right? This is like him.
Yeah, his friends. Yeah, I don't know if I talked. I don't remember if I talked about it with any of my friends. And then since I didn't have my phone after that for a while, and I still am not using social media, I don't know on my friends' end.
Not once. He also seems to stutter on the answer of whether or not he even knows Tyler Robinson.
Do you know Tyler Robinson?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do.
Seems weird. And that might have something to do with the fact that Lance Twiggs' DNA is on every single piece of evidence that they tested. And they brush it off like, oh, well, they lived together. Sure. Okay, yeah, sure, they did live together. But this rifle, I thought, was his grandpa's rifle that he had to take from his grandpa. So why would Lance Twiggs' DNA be on this at all? Plus, Lance Twiggs didn't have to testify in court, he didn't get cross-examined, and he was given immunity because technically burning this note, which we got a brief glimpse at even though we weren't supposed to see it, I guess, and it's not anything different than what we have already seen, but Lance was given immunity because he burned this note and technically destroyed evidence. So they're letting him off the hook, and a lot of people are starting to question Lance a little bit harder because I found this video that shows someone looks very similar to Lance Twiggs walking on the UVU campus before everything happened. Then shortly after that, there's a person seen on the roof that looks like it might be this same individual. But that's not the only other person we saw on the roofs that day. In fact, in this video, as we're tracking alleged Tyler Robinson going to the sniper's perch on the Losi Center, you can see a figure on another rooftop moving the opposite direction at roughly the same speed. Never mentioned, never followed up on. Apparently this person isn't a person of interest, but who knows? Maybe this is the person that left behind this live round that was found on one of the rooftops, which is just out of this world crazy to me that this was never really followed up on, does not seem to be of any interest to the police officers testifying, and they brush it off as just a round that must have just accidentally been ejected from a weapon.
I was also made aware that there was a rooftop area that had been secured and also an area off of the side of that building that had been secured by an officer.
And that building was the Losi building?
Correct.
Wasn't there also a bullet found on another building?
I believe an unfired bullet had been found on another building at some point during my time there on September 10th. Yes.
Which building was that, sir?
I don't recall.
Was that considered a scene that was worth preserving?
It was not. My recollection is that that was accounted for as an ejected cartridge from an officer who had cycled his rifle.
Okay, I thought you said it was an unfired bullet, and now you're saying it was a cartridge?
When a weapon is cleared, an officer would make his rifle ready, which would chamber around.
Oh, I got you.
My understanding was that that's how that was accounted for.
Now, I listened to Nate Valhalla with Valhalla VFT talking about how if a police officer accidentally leaves behind a round, that round is picked up by a hardened criminal, put into their own weapon, uses that weapon to take somebody out. Effectively, whatever police officer left that round on the ground with his fingerprints all over it, now just unalived another person. So it's very unlikely that a police officer or any person in a position with a weapon is going to leave a live round on a rooftop. It's just not going to happen. But if they did, in fact, leave this live round on this rooftop, then it was probably the same person that left their gun holster on the ground, possibly with a weapon inside of it.
Okay, and this is a report prepared by actually Mr. Davis, who's going to testify later in this matter. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and on page 2, this is the interview of Noah Gonzalez. Is that right?
That's what it stated on page 1, yes.
And he's an off-duty trooper who happened to be there that day?
Correct.
And do you see on the second paragraph, does that refresh your memory about whether Trooper Gonzalez believed there was a gun found in a holster in that area of the amphitheater?
Trooper Gonzalez included in his report that there was a gun, yes.
Okay.
And it's this holster that actually led the lead police chief on the campus to see the line of sight from the Losi Center all the way to Charlie Kirk and realize, maybe we should investigate this Losi Center building. But no follow-up was ever done with this holster. In fact, they don't even seem to care at all about this holster. Also, this is something that we already knew, but they weren't able to match the bullet pulled from Charlie to the test rounds fired from this Mauser rifle that was picked up. I also thought it was really weird that the rifle we all thought was just a stock Getty image, but that's the actual rifle. Like, what? How did we all get so fooled by that? What even happened there? That's so weird. But the most interesting piece is that the rounds that they showed in the photos that were engraved on are the types of 30-06 Remington rounds that are hardened so that they don't break up and splinter when they impact something. They're made so that they fully penetrate all the way through big game animals, not small neck humans. Big game, broad-shouldered freaking moose. It's supposed to go all the way through.
Now, the rifle is one thing. We've already heard the 30-06 millions of times, but the ammunition used is very, very interesting because there's been a million different theories to try to make this work. Everybody told you, well, somebody used Grandpappy's old rifle rounds from 1938 that Tyler dug up out of the basement that had been destroyed, and humidity has gotten into them and messed up the powder, or the accelerator rounds, the low grain rounds, the frangible rounds, all the different theories to somehow make the 30-06 story work. And the problem is, well, these are brand new rounds. So as you see here, no, these are not Grandpappy's old rounds. These are brand new rounds, and they actually told us what they were. And the interesting thing is, I actually just happen to have these exact ones at my house. Yes, according to the prosecution, these are brand new Remington Springfield 30-06 soft point rounds. As you can see right here, I've got the exact same ones, 150 grain. These are exactly what you would go to Walmart or Bass Pro Shop and buy if you wanted to go get something to knock down an elk or a moose. And what's interesting about these soft point rounds is that they are specifically designed to over-penetrate and cause as much damage as possible because, of course, you're trying to use these to shoot through big game like moose or elk that are substantially bigger than humans, bigger, stronger bones, denser bones, more muscle, more meat, and you got to be able to get through that bone, get through the vital organs, and potentially get out the other side. And while it's a little bit hard to see, a couple of these actually do look like they might be FMJ rounds. You can't really tell, but the way you can tell the soft point round, and I'll show you the actual ones a little bit closer up, is they actually have lead tips to them, and they're a little bit more round than a regular round. And I'll zoom this in so you can see here, they're a little bit different, right? They're rounder and they have that lead tip, and I'll explain what these are actually used for and how they work. And actually, let me just read you the description straight off the box so you know that I'm not making this stuff, all right? So it says right here, these are the rounds that Tyler used. They're designed for deep penetration and controlled expansion up to 2 times the original caliber diameter of a full metal jacket round. Designed for high weight retention, and they won't break up or separate on impact for more effective stopping power. Now, why that's also interesting is we know there was 7 different bullet fragments found inside Charlie on top of the actual bullet itself, and well, these rounds are really designed not to do that, so that's a little odd. And also now the idea that this 30-06 soft point round didn't go through Charlie's tiny little neck. Ooh, now we're in the realms of not a chance. And I could blow these up here, and you can see these are brand new, perfectly pristine rounds. These are not reloaded or anything like that, as far as we can tell. But of course, you can also see the Dremel engravings that, of course, he put on all of the rounds, because that's super normal. And as you can see, they even collected these from his house. He actually even engraved on rounds that he was practicing with, because, yeah, that's what people usually do.
So the fact that Charlie kept his head is actually pretty impressive. Or he's made of steel. And I actually posted a shorts video about this, making a comparison between the footage that we've already seen that's been posted by the Associated Press and this small glimpse of the secret footage showing Tyler Robinson, which is the footage that all these influencers are saying definitively proves and shows clear as day that this for sure was Tyler. We see him, you can identify him, there's no question about it. This is definitely him. And yet, when I compared the videos and like overlaid them together and made sure that they basically lined up exactly, yeah, this footage actually looks worse than the footage that is online on YouTube right now on the Associated Press's website. So like, how much are they paying these guys? Then I saw this amazing video posted by Ian from iWentster. I hope I said that right. Amazing video. Shows that Mikey McCoy took this random, nonsensical picture like right behind Charlie Kirk, in between two of the bodyguards giving these weird steel third base hand signals. The photo itself isn't a good photo, doesn't capture anything interesting, and makes absolutely no sense unless it's suspicious for some reason. I don't really know why, but it does feel like there was something going on here. And it just so happens to fall right in between these hand signals right before Charlie gets shot.
If I have this right, based on the timestamp, this means that Mikey took this picture between both looks at Dan Flood. So he looks at Dan Flood, then he pulls his phone up, takes the picture, and then looks at Dan Flood again right before Charlie's killed. If I have this right.
Too many. I'm empirical evidence there. It's 5. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm going to give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
So, the question every single person on planet Earth right now should be asking is, why did Mikey McCoy take a picture of Charlie Kirk right before he was killed? Every single person should be asking that. But there's more. Because the way that I got this picture was one of my followers, who is an absolute stranger. She has nothing to do with Turning Point. She has nothing to do with me, nothing to do with Mikey. Just a follower who is a married woman who Mikey McCoy responded to in DMs and sent this photo to. But in addition to this photo, he also sent her an audio message. Listen to this.
Hi, this is Mikey. To answer your question, I actually don't even give out my phone number, like really to anybody either. And truthfully, like it's probably even weird I'm giving it to you, but I don't know. Like ever since you messaged me, like there's sometimes I think about stuff or like I'm talking to people and I just feel like the Lord brings up on my heart again just to talk to you. So I don't know. Who am I to really question it? But I'm also like the world's worst texter, so I'm sorry. I think that also correlates to being even worse at Instagram messaging. Anyways, it's been nice talking to you. I really appreciate you reaching out and just, taking the time. And again, like I don't talk to everybody. Like I don't also really have time to talk to everybody, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know, maybe it's the Holy Spirit or whatever, but nice to meet you, and thank you for always taking the time.
I don't know about you guys, but when I hear that, it sounds really weird, okay? All the stuff about the Holy Spirit and God and whatever, like, brother, it sounds like you're just hitting on an older married woman. She's old enough to be your mother, and so that to me is really strange. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Like, why? What? Huh? What do you take from that? You tell me. I have said this from day one. I have always felt like something is weird about Mikey. I've always felt like he comes off as somebody who is like reaching out for help because he's been abused or whatever. I don't know, man. I'm just saying that's a weird message that Mikey is sending to some random married lady who's old enough to be his mother, who has nothing to do with Turning Point whatsoever. Is he reaching out for help or is he hitting on this woman? What is going on? By the way, for all of you that are asking, she also does not have some like massive following. So it's not like he's sending this photo to somebody who he thinks is going to be able to get the photo out to the masses. Like, it's so weird. So Mikey McCoy has some explaining to do. Why did you look at Dan Flood and then take the picture and then look at Dan Flood again right before Charlie was killed, if I have that timestamp right? Why are you messaging some random woman who's old enough to be your mother and seemingly hitting on her? If you weren't hitting on her, why does this seem like it's a cry for help? Mikey, what's going on? Where are you, buddy?
Personally, though, for me, one of the weirdest, most confusing parts about this entire pre-trial hearing was this video that was allegedly caught by some neighborhood neighbors to the school, the Noble family. They have a Ring doorbell camera that just happened to catch this Dodge Challenger, looks like it could be gray, rolls up in front of this house across the street, and then eventually drives off. Now, this footage was captured at 12:38 a.m. on September 11th. We also saw video footage of Tyler Robinson's allegedly car driving on the campus at 12:30 a.m. right before he got pulled over by an officer who just had one of those cop feelings about this car. This cop wrote down that license plate, wrote down Tyler's information, didn't ticket him. Must have been a real quick stop, because in less than 8 minutes, he was then able to drive over in front of the Noble's house, park his car, and then re-enter the car and leave. So I'm not really sure what they think this even shows. But then when you hear that the Nobles said that a bald guy was driving with 3 other passengers in the car, well, I want to know why Tyler was letting a bald guy drive his car. Or is this even Tyler's car at all?
What's your recollection?
I remember reading the report at some point, yes.
And do you remember that the Nobles told you that the driver of the vehicle was bald?
I do remember that being in the report, yes.
And you didn't mention that today when you were talking about that Ring camera, did you?
I did not.
And did they also tell you there were 3 other people in the car?
Yes, I believe they thought that was the case.
Okay.
It's also worth mentioning that Lauren Peritra, Mad Love, brought up the fact that this bald guy could have been Blake Neff. I have always gotten the weirdest vibes from Blake Neff. He seems so awkward and anxious all of the time, especially lately, leading up to this pre-trial hearing.
Pay attention to how nervous Blake Neff looks this entire time. You would think he's got a ticking time bomb at his feet. This man looks so uncomfortable.
I don't know if you want to chime in on that.
Well, it's just we want to be clear. We're making it sound like it is the trial, and honestly, to us, it sometimes feels like that. It is not the trial.
This is not the trial.
This is only a preliminary hearing where they essentially show probable cause for charging Tyler Robinson.
Yeah. So let's go into that. This is not the trial. This is the pre-trial judicial proceeding, okay?
But man, Blake was in Utah that day. Who was this bald guy allegedly driving Tyler Robinson's Challenger? But I don't know, man. Every time I've been pulled over, it takes at least 10 minutes for the cop to even get to my car to write me a ticket or something. Like, usually he stops me. He says, all right, sit tight. I'll be back. And then it's like 15 minutes later, they finally come back. And it's like, you get so nervous. Like, did they find a warrant or something? Like, what the hell? And yet Tyler Robinson's able to go through this traffic stop, even though this cop is amazingly suspicious, somehow in less than 8 minutes. And not only that, he had enough time to drive from this spot where he got pulled over in front of the Noble's house in less than 8 minutes. The timeline just doesn't add up to me. And there's many other things that don't add up to me. But these were the things that just struck me so hard that I couldn't look past it. And I for sure can't take credit for this one. But one of my subscribers, A Taraxia, actually brought up a really good point. Number one, Tyler Robinson never once mentioned Charlie Kirk to Lance Twiggs ever, according to Lance. They never spoke about Charlie Kirk. He didn't know how much he hated Charlie Kirk. For somebody who absolutely can't stand Charlie Kirk and can't put up with his hatred any longer, he sure was quiet about it. But it is extremely strange that if Lance Twiggs and Tyler Robinson are in fact boyfriends, then it is a weird choice for Tyler to have left campus and returned so that he could eat at a place that's notoriously anti-gay. Chick-fil-A, Dr. Seuss. But no, for real, why would someone who is in a committed gay relationship support a business who is very openly against homosexuality? It just makes no sense. There is very little about the prosecution's case that actually makes any sense to me. But I think more than anything, we didn't learn a single new piece of evidence. I was waiting for the prosecution to lay out this super strong, airtight case to where I'd be like, oh, damn, okay, well, we were wrong. They just weren't showing us everything. But now they're showing us everything, and it's exactly the same stuff that we've already seen before. It's already the same information we already had. And yet we've got all these influencers coming out saying, oh yeah, that video footage was the nail in the coffin. Absolutely 1000% Tyler Robinson, case closed. And for any of you conspiracy theorists out there thinking anything different, well, you better check yourselves.
That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
I'm not saying Tyler didn't do it. I'm just saying that the case against Tyler Robinson isn't very strong, and the reasonable doubt still there. And I know this was just a probable cause hearing. They're not pushing for beyond a reasonable doubt. They just need probable cause. There's nothing in any of this evidence which indicates Tyler Robinson as being the suspect outside of Lance Twiggs' testimony. And even Lance Twiggs' testimony isn't definitive. He's saying, well, yeah, it does look like him. I've never seen him wear that hat before, but I'm sorry. Yeah, well, it does look like him. I've never really seen him wear that hat before, but I mean, I guess, yeah, it does look kind of like him. That's not a positive ID. If that was me or my brother or anybody I knew in that photo, I'd be like, oh, yeah, actually, that is him. That's his shirt. Those are definitely his shoes. I can tell that it's him based on this. I can even tell based on his gait, his walk. There's so many things that I would be able to say above and beyond what Lance said about Tyler. So it seems to me that the entirety of the state's case is resting on Lance Twiggs' testimony. And yet his DNA is all over every piece of evidence. So I'm actually starting to wonder if Lance might be more involved than Tyler. Or perhaps if this whole case against Tyler falls apart, well, they know who to flip it around on, right? Those are just some things that really struck me as strange. I wanted to, share them with you guys, just add to the conversation, because I feel like this is one of those trials that we really need to be involved with, and I'm really happy that it's open to the media. Man, I do not get good vibes about what's happening right now at all.
Is that Dan Flood? We need the internet. Guys, I need your help. Is that Dan Flood? Make it full screen. Okay, we have a Google image of Dan Flood wearing the black polo with the glasses. Put them side by side. Holy shit. Guys, is that Dan Flood? That is a screenshot sent to me by Mitch Snow. That's Mitch Snow's front door ring camera. June 25th, 2026, 1:35 p.m. Pacific time. Is that Dan Flood on Mitch Snow's front step? Is that Dan Flood at Mitch Snow's front door?
But I do want to know what you guys think. So let me know what you think about my theories, about the things I brought up, but also let me know what you think. Or if there's something I missed, drop it in the comments. But that's all I got for you guys today. I look forward to doing this again with you guys very soon. But until then, sleep safe, stay sober, stay awake, stay alive. And you should probably unfollow all of these paid asset influencers that are posting all this garbage. I don't know. Later, sobers.
Let's go.